to start our podcast, I just have to remind you, Sam, that you are being recorded, and for legal reasons and snags, I have to tell you that you are being recorded.
Of course. I wouldn't want to say anything that was wrong or volatile or I don't know.
Or illegal in 16 different states.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because when you actually look at our YouTube analytics, people in America actually watch this.
No, I checked it today. We're most popular in the Netherlands.
I have lots of work colleagues in the Netherlands that I
That's
promote
what
our
it
show
is.
to.
There you go. There's the link.
I think we've had India. I tell you what's weird, my photography website, a third of the views on that so far, Norway.
Norway.
I've been there once, apparently made a big impact.
You see, here's me thinking it was all down to my Volta video of was it me or CJ who played as the Netherlands?
Yeah.
I was like, that's what it is. They love it.
It's not that Ben's head office is actually in the Netherlands and he knows people there. Definitely not.
It's because of Virgil van Dijk. That's why.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we've heard he's a Liverpool fan, so everyone in Holland is like, well, we have to get behind him now, obviously.
That's it.
Oh, well, that was weird. You know when you go off Skype and then it's like your head appears like here, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, well, what I'll do, I'll 3, 2, 1 us in.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. And welcome to the Mancave Podcast, episode 12. And
12.
I know. And I am a host, a co-host, a person on the show. My name is Benjamin Salt.
My name is Zambike. I'm your co-host, your other friend, your other co-person, and here to bring you lots of fun for the next hour-ish.
Sometime passing between us discussing different topics, which we love, you love. If you don't love, you don't listen. But we're getting more listeners, so happy days.
It's all gravy. It's booming. Business is booming. We've got like 70-something subscribers on YouTube in a matter of months.
It's pretty cool. One day, guys, you share the love, and we'll make one video and everyone will be like, oh my God, that was the greatest podcast I've ever listened to.
That was the one.
That was the one. And that is today. That is today. You are going to be going, oh my God, I have to tell all of my friends about this incredible podcast.
That's some pretty high expectations.
Some high expectations. There's only one way from here, which is up. My share portfolio, which was sat at £9.20 this morning, now at £9.65.
Wow, what a jump.
One only ways up. So yeah, we've had a couple of weeks. We've kind of, instead of putting a huge amount of pressure on ourselves to just keep on producing pods, we thought, do you know what? We'll give it a bit of time. We'll think about what we want to say. If you want, I actually did get a message, and it was like, Ben, I'm kind of expecting a Mancave podcast. When am I getting one? I'm like, whoa. I was like, oh my God, people are actually telling me to make it. So thanks, guys. So this week we are going through one of our subtopics, one of the 4 images on our logo, and that is films. And we kind of went through. Our last episode was about games that we're looking forward to in 2020, and so we thought, you know what, we'll kind of do a bit of a kind of a trending topic of films that we're looking forward to, and films that we've maybe seen recently in 2020, and what films you're looking forward to. Do you agree with what we say? Between us, we've got some media accreditation at respective
I have
sixth
my
forms.
National Diploma BTEC.
Oh yes, and I have my A-level. We're not just 2 random guys chatting shit. We actually know our shit.
I have an account on IMDb and I rate films sometimes.
Exactly. So it's not just amateurs that are making this podcast. We're true professionals.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has been a couple of weeks. So a lot of fun. A lot of things have happened. I actually went to the cinema for the first time in a good 6 months
That's
this
crazy.
week,
That's
uh,
crazy.
which has been a bit crazy, really. And the main reason I find myself doing that is towards the end of last year, I don't think there were a crazy amount of great films that came out that I was like, I need to go to the cinema to see
Uh-huh.
that. And I could wait, and especially, you know, in the deep dark depths of the internet with free to license films, which are definitely not copyright infringed. Um, it seems like Oscar season, you get
That's
those
true.
films very quickly.
Yeah, those Oscar season films.
So the Joker took what 2 months to be on the internet. Like it's mad. It's mad. So you don't actually have to wait
Well,
that long.
you mean a decent version.
Yeah, you can get some dodgy copies.
You
You
can
can
get some
get
dodgy ones straight away, but let's be
you
honest.
can get your uncle's Spanish DVD collection. Within a week. If you
Yeah.
want something that's got Dolby Digital audio and half decent audio quality and visual quality, it's
Yeah.
probably about 2 months, isn't it? Which is, Katie does call me the king of the internet, but that's because I legally
That's
stream all my
because
films.
I think probably a lot of girlfriends think their boyfriends are the kings of the internet.
Yeah, it's like he knows how to
They
find
just
film.
how do
It's
they
like,
do that?
yes, king of the internet. So I've got to kind of layer this podcast out. So you know what you're going to listen to. I've got 2 films that I've seen recently, 2 films that I'm looking forward to seeing this year,
Mm.
and also a film I'm not asked about. Uh, to kind of mix it up. So I hope you enjoy the ride. Sam BK, what have you also got? I'm guessing potentially very similar.
Yeah, I've got it's a bit of a funny one. There's films that I'm kind of in the last podcast, right? We said, oh, these are the games that are coming out this year that we're like, looking forward to. But we were also saying how because it's the same year as the next generation's coming out, it kind of feels like a bit of a weird year. I feel like it's a weird year for cinema as well. It's
Yeah.
not like I can think of quite a few films that came out last year that I was like, oh my god, I have to see all these. And this year I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm going to see these. There's some that I definitely will see, but there's some that I'm like not as keen on, but I will go and see. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a mix like you.
If you had a limitless pass at Odeon, you'd
Mm.
probably go, I'm going to take a break from this subscription.
Yeah, this year I wouldn't because I had a Cineworld card a couple of years ago. I wouldn't get it this year, but
Isn't it weird? Everything that we made the podcast about in terms of like current content is
yeah,
like, do you know what? It's not a great game. It's not a great year for games. It's probably not actually a great year for movies. What about sport? Well, the way things are going, it's actually going to be the end of the entire freaking
for
world.
some people.
So, like, what a year to be alive! What a year
Yeah,
to be
but
alive!
what we're gonna do is make it better, and we're gonna analyze it and rip it apart and just talk about it and just make it interesting. So
Here we go. So I'm going to jump into it, and I'm going to start with a 2020 film, even though I think it literally came out like I think on New Year's Day, which
right.
is one that made me laugh so much in the trailers that I was like, I have to go and see
Oh
it,
wow.
which is Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, the Jojo Rabbit thing. This is how do you pronounce the director's name?
No idea, but it has Scarlett Johansson in it.
Oh well, right. My one of my friends. Hold on. Let me just
It was
Jojo.
the
I'm searching for it
same.
now. How do you
What did
pronounce
he
his?
produce?
He's he's.
He did 2 big films.
This could be wrong. I've got Taika Waititi. I don't know if that's right. It's spelled Taika, and then like wait, et. So yeah, this guy has he's getting a bit of a cult following with all the films he's making, and yeah, this one's done really well. I'm just having a look. So he's done. Oh, apparently he's done something with Knives Out. Oh no, he hasn't. Oh God, IMDb's a mess right now. That's recommending me stuff that I would like, not. what he's done. Bear with
Brilliant.
me.
It's like, so this director, here's some films of someone else that you might like.
Yeah,
Like,
that's not what I was after.
thanks.
Right. Anyway, yeah, he's getting big. Apparently, he's good. He makes really funny films. And yeah, you were saying it was a really funny trailer. So there you go.
Yeah. And do you know what? It was actually both me and Katie both kind of confirmed what we felt about it. Was there was elements where it was very funny,
Mm.
and the way that
Um,
it kind of, you know, picked out kind of Nazi Germany and the
that's it, right? Yeah.
ideologies, and the way that obviously it's obviously horrific what happened, but the way that it took that and made it something very funny is something I've not really seen before. Anything to do with kind of Nazi Germany, it's very gritty, it's very real to life. And this was just ripping it to shreds.
I
Like,
feel like that's good because there's so much nowadays where it's like it's all about the old war and everything. And I don't want this to come off bad, but like you say, they're all gritty, they're all dramas. I've seen it 1,000 times. How many
yeah,
times can we retell the story? Don't get me wrong, it's the story of, generations. It's crazy. The world was at war, all the rest of it. But, we've seen it 1,000 times in dramas recreated on TV.
we've had 19 Call of Duties explaining what happened
Like
in World
this.
War Two. We've had
So this is a breath of fresh air, really.
exactly, and
This
do
is
you
what
know
we
what?
needed.
There were bits that were very funny, and I enjoyed that, but there were also bits that were very because it was built within humour. There was then
Mm,
real life elements to it, which then had more of an impact because it was
okay.
kind of such a contrast. Not to ruin it, but there was this one bit, and we actually like the whole audience went, oh, like whoa, and it was like really like deep, but very funny, very very funny. I would
Interesting.
highly recommend it. Either potentially to go see it at the cinema. It was good. It was quite busy. The cinema that we went to on the day, so it added to the atmosphere of like gross laughing. It kind of it was good. Apart from I ate popcorn the whole way through and probably annoyed loads of people. But also if you don't see it at the cinema, definitely get it on DVD, Blu-ray, or however
So
you get your media. So I would highly recommend to watch Jojo Rabbit.
I've looked into it, and Taika Waititi. People are going to hate me for this if I'm getting that name wrong. So I believe he has done stuff with Marvel. He did Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, that was it. That was what it came up
Yeah,
with. Yeah.
yeah. And he's done a bit of Rick and Morty, and He's also done something to do with the Mandalorian. I think he's directed
Yeah.
to do with that. So yeah, he seems to be a guy that's been in some good stuff coming up. So I will definitely watch that because I've been recommended by too many people now.
Yeah. And I thought it might be a bit childish. It was a 12A,
Oh,
but like there was a bit where he definitely tells Adolf Hitler to fuck off. So I'm like,
fuck off, Adolf.
12? I'm like, 12A? Like, really? Like, I think the
Interesting.
standards have definitely come down from when James Bond was a 12A and there's no
Yeah,
swearing, and this was had some quite graphic elements to it. So, yeah, verge on the side of caution, but all of our audience are 25 to 45 years old, so
as the analytics
you're
tell us.
you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. So Sam, I'll throw a film at you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with one that you're not gonna say. I'm guaranteed you're not gonna say this one. I'm very confident. It actually comes out in March. There's stuff that comes out before this, but I've just thought of this one. And this one, it's actually got Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy playing the lead role in it. He's also known as Dave Bautista. He walks alone in a pit of danger, and the movie is called My Spy. It is coming out in March, and the reason I say this is because I saw a trailer for it, and yeah, I thought it was hilarious. It's basically just a hardened CIA operative that finds himself at the mercy of a precocious 9-year-old girl. And
Brilliant.
they basically, yeah, get sent undercover, and the chemistry between them is really funny. It's Dave Bautista. He's massive. He's huge. He's a former world heavyweight champion, and you've got a 9-year-old girl. The dynamic is
This feels like
Go on.
Dwayne the Rock
Yeah,
Johnson.
I know you're gonna say it.
Is it Kindergarten Kid?
No.
Oh, what was it? No, that was
So The
Arnold
Rock was
Schwarzenegger,
into the
wasn't it?
tooth. Yeah, no, right. Vin Diesel was like in some sort of film like that, like kindergarten thing. The Rock was in The Tooth Fairy.
That was
But
it.
the reason why The Rock did The Tooth Fairy, because in the 80s, Hulk Hogan did The Nanny,
Yeah.
and it's that kind of thing. So basically, yeah, it looks really funny. The dynamic, it's Dave Bautista. If you've enjoyed him in Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff, yeah, I think you'll definitely enjoy this. I think he's done so well. You know, he's been a bad guy in James Bond, Guardians of the Galaxy, and now he's doing a film for himself. So yeah, this comes out in March. Actually, it's like a funny spy movie, kind of like, I'm not going to say Johnny English because that's a very British humor film, but it's just a funny family American spy film. I would say so. Yeah.
Who would have thought in 2004 that we would be discussing looking forward to a Dave Bautista film?
Exactly.
That guy he's reinvented himself. I'm proud
has.
of Dave.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Big Dave.
Just to think, that guy with those stripped back tattoos.
The belly button tattoo.
Belly button tattoo. Evolution has come all this way.
I'm trying to think who's genuinely pulled off. A male guy has pulled off a belly button tattoo. He does.
The problem is, even if he didn't pull it off, does anybody have the balls to tell him?
Is anybody going to tell him? Are you going to tell him? I'm not going to tell him.
I'm not going to tell him that it's a bit weird that he's had a dog tattooed on his thigh. I'm not going to tell him that at all. You go, Dave. You do what you like. You've earned it.
Yeah, I'm going to check out that one.
I think that would be a release to DVD watch for me.
Is it? Well, I mean,
unless it's
will I
absolute
go and see
rave.
Difficult one. It's definitely going to end up on Netflix. So,
oh, yeah, 100%.
I'm just trying to think outside the box here.
Or potentially Disney Plus, which, as of today,
yeah,
breaking news: 24th of March is coming to the UK.
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought it was going to come out anyway, so it doesn't change my opinions. But it's actually a lot cheaper if you buy it in one go than doing the monthly thing.
£60 a year.
Yeah, so you might as well just pay for it for 12 months.
Might as well.
Yeah.
I'm hoping someone brought it up at work today, and I'm hoping I can get their login. I've been generous with my Netflix. I'm hoping people are generous back to me. And on that lovely segue, because it's almost like a plan that in my head. The next film that I have seen recently, which I think everybody should see, is from my favourite actor. All right. Which is, we watched this not last night, the night before, Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix. A film from 2011.
2011?
Yes.
I've never heard of this.
I'd never heard of it. And oh my God, was it brilliant? Yes, it was. Oh wow. Right. So basically, premise of the story. There is a lawyer who drives around in a Lincoln. Literally, during the credits, I was like, I know why this is called this film. It was like, that's a Lincoln logo. I was like, yeah, I know this stuff. But yeah, Matthew McConaughey, he's a lawyer. He gets roped into this kind of like assault murder case, and it's like really deep, really clever. Matthew McConaughey is an absolute badass.
Who doesn't like him? He's so likable.
He's just like, and Katie was like, there's going to be sex in this film. Basically, if Matthew McConaughey is in a film, it's going to have sex in it. We were watching True Detective as a recommendation, as a series. We watched the first series, had Matthew McConaughey, had some weird sex story in it. It's like the guy is just like, loves to be around sex. But yeah, so as it's, on Netflix and you've either got your own logins or somebody else's, you might as well enjoy that 2-hour film. It's kind of like, somebody told me that as I'm a white guy, I enjoy crime drama. And I was like, you're totally right. Totally right. Just seems like Just seems like white people just enjoy a good crime drama. So save yourself 2 hours and go watch that. Good film. Very good film. So Lincoln Lawyer
Cool.
is
Mm.
another recommendation from the Salt.
The salt. Okay, cool. I didn't realize that you were recommending a past film. So,
Just films that I watched recently,
oh, okay, fair
which was
enough.
this week.
Yeah, okay. I might dwell upon the one that I talked about before we started recording. Then, so last night I watched Hereditary. I'm not a horror guy. Um, I thought, you know what? Let's try something different. It's on Amazon. There was a bunch of films on Amazon. Their collection isn't as good as Netflix's. Let's try something different. Yeah, it was kind of tame. I remember it being advertised maybe middle of last year, and it had that
Yeah,
that girl, and she was on all the adverts and stuff. Turns out she's only in like a quarter of the film. So, this creepy girl
that girl dead.
that's on all the promotional marketing is actually only in for like 2 seconds of the film. So, yeah, generic horror, and like I say, I don't watch horror films, and I can tell that. So, it's got 7.3 on IMDb.
See,
Really?
horror films trick me on IMDb because
Do you know what I'm going to do? Right, it's about time that I search for this and I leave my opinion. So, Hereditary. This is going to become
a
a weekly
live
thing.
IMDb review.
My live IMDb review. It's rated 7.3 out of 10. That's better than the most recent Star Wars movie on IMDb. What is wrong with people? Right, rate this. I am going for 5 out of 10. And that's
Generic,
been nice.
in the middle. I would not recommend other people to watch this.
I could have made a better horror film.
Now that
Deal
is a
with
bold
that.
statement.
Deal with that.
See, I just find with horror films, just in general, and Katie, you're going to know that this is my opinion already, but they are so predictable.
Yeah, that's it.
And I feel like there's certain horror films which will actually go, huh. Like I remember when Paranormal Activity first came out, the
Yeah.
first one, I couldn't genuinely sleep.
Really?
That is the mark of a great horror film, is when your audience don't want to go to sleep because they feel like things are going to float at them. I feel like horror films have just not peaked since then. They're all kind of like they're aiming for too much of a twist,
I
or they're
think
a
they've
bit
tried
too
to
predictable.
go backwards because, I mean, it's all very. I think they're going backwards in how it's all going to be based about like devil stuff. And for example, we had The Nun come out last year. Now I've not seen it, but that's there's there's not like I know it came out on they did a BBC TV series, but there's no Dracula films. There's not a Frankenstein film that you're afraid of, is there? Like it's
No.
just So I think in the stories and stuff, they're trying to. I don't know. I'm not a horror guy, so yeah. I think they get a good critic rating because it's psychological.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. But
It
yeah.
gets like a horror critic, but not just a generic critic.
Mm.
Well, something that, interestingly has critically got better over time is my next film. Also, I had some interesting opinions about the stories that were coming out of this film when it first got announced and what was happening, and that is No Time to Die.
James Bond.
James Bond, or 007,
Da,
which it
da,
won't
da,
be.
da, da, da.
Don't do that for too long. We'll get copyright infringement, Sam.
God, I'll make up a new melody.
It's like da da da.
That's been done like 1,000 times. The Mission Impossible theme for TV shows.
Oh god, unbelievable! But No Time to Die. It's a James Bond film year. It is 100% something I will go to see at the cinema now that I have found out that 007 is James Bond, and they are not trying to take my manly earth away from me and make 007 a woman. Apologies to all the women, but I wanted James Bond to be a man.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I think
he's still a man.
Absolutely ridiculous. He's a man. He's called James. He sleeps with women and has his vodka martinis shaken, not stirred. Let's just not mess with the
And
formula
I'm okay
too
with
much. Yeah, I think we're all okay with that. Doctor Who can be a woman, I guess, but James Bond is James Bond.
And please just leave him the frick alone to wander the world, womanizing people, getting drunk and shooting people. Just let him do it.
Just let him be a womanizer, god damn it.
But this is obviously Daniel Craig's final iteration of the wonderfully loved character until
like
he probably goes, I'm going to do another one. Why not? I'm getting paid loads of money.
that seems to be what's happening. This James Bond saga of Daniel Craig seems to have been a bit of a roller coaster. Started off amazing. Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, what was that all about? Skyfall, absolutely unreal, amazing. Then the one after Skyfall was like, yeah.
It was like, almost as good as Skyfall. But it was like, it just didn't reach those peaks of.
But it's weird
Skyfall
because
was just a perfect James Bond film. It was so
my
good.
god, yeah, I know. But they've done these James Bond movies all linking to each other, and when I was a kid, I would just watch all the old James Bond films back to back, and it was pretty much the same thing. There was a bad guy, there was a Bond girl. Every film's the same. It's got all its codes and conventions, but these ones have been a bit different. They've all followed a bit of a narrative throughout the films, and I'm going to see it, but what I was going to say was I'm going to have to do a bit of rewatching before I go and see it to be kept in the loop. You used to be able to just go and see a James Bond film and not have to go and watch another one. But with this, I think I'm going to have to rewatch the last one because I can't remember what's happened in this arc of Daniel Craig.
And do you know who is not to blame, but I think to creatively challenge James Bond, who's changed, I think, fundamentally how they film it? All down to Jason Bourne and Matt Damon.
That's true.
Totally changed the spy game. Like, to the point where I think James Bond were like, yeah, a little bit childish, isn't it? Like, we sent the guy to space and he's like, maybe, or, this diamond laser melts something in Iceland.
I love Die Another Day.
Kind of ridiculous, though. It's like, but this guy has a diamond face, and it means he doesn't sleep. It's like all kind of getting a little bit ridiculous. And then Jason Bourne came along.
Icarus.
Yeah, and then James Bond.
I want to watch it.
I really want to rewatch Scott.
I really want to watch Die Another Day again. It's so ridiculous. It's amazing.
That fight between that Aston Martin and that Jaguar, legendary.
We should do a watch along.
We'll do that again. We'll be like, totally screw copyright. It's like we're just gonna watch this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like Jason Bourne came along and it was really gritty, had an arc, clearly had a storyline for 3 films, and I think it kind of scared the whole franchise because they were like, well, actually, this has become the biggest film in this genre now.
Yeah.
What do we need to do? And they came back, and I think they've probably come back cinematically with the best James Bond films ever made. I think there's a lot of praise that goes behind these films, so I'm interested to see how this arc ends. And
I agree.
And who takes over?
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast, isn't it? We could be like, oh, it's Henry Cavill. Oh, it's Tom Hardy. Oh, it's this other guy. Oh, it's Michael Fassbender.
Could be one of us. They could be watching this and they'd be like,
I'd prefer him to get an unknown, but yeah.
Intriguing. So, yep, No Time to Die.
No Time. So that's probably going to be the biggest release of the year, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's
looking at the releases, that looks like
if you look at the whole year, I mean, in February there's 2 that are coming out, which I'm going to mention one of them now. So my girlfriend's definitely making me go and see it, and that is Birds of Prey. And the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So
I want to see that.
I've been told I'm going to watch this. I would probably go and watch it anyway because I think, if you watch the Suicide Squad and you were kind of a bit like, well, that ending sucked, you kind of want to see them do something with this iteration of Harley Quinn because it was so good in that movie. So
yeah,
I think they'll make up for it. It's very rare that you get a really good DC movie. So
Yeah, they are so hit and miss. Like it is painful.
which is why
how
they've
hit
got
and miss
James
they are.
Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy to redo Suicide Squad. Like,
And it's like hilarious because, like, you know, how good was Guardians of the Galaxy? I think
exactly.
it was actually a game changer for Marvel. And they just, yeah. But the problem is, do they just become the other Marvel? Because Marvel do Marvel.
Exactly. Do they want to be
It's
something
so difficult.
different, or do they not? I mean, yeah, Birds of Prey. I think it'll be really good. One thing that's kind of going to confuse some people. It won't confuse me because I'm awesome, but it's not the same universe as the Joker that we just saw at the end of last year. It is
Yeah.
in the universe of the Joker that was Jared Leto. So although he's not playing it, he is referenced in the movie.
And this is where Disney and DC are like Disney and Marvel and everyone have gone, right. Here is our 25-year arc. This is our plan. This is where we are in our heads. And like DC are like, yeah, we're gonna make this film next year. And then like a year later they go, oh, that doesn't really fit in. Should we make it anyway? There's like, and the thing is, it's like they've just gone from making like the Joker film. Like we both
Yeah.
agreed, you saw it at the cinema, and I've recently saw it at home. Incredible film, absolutely incredible. And he's just won an Academy Award.
Yeah.
For the portrayal of the Joker. Yet, like you say, the next film that they're bringing out is then related to a Joker that they did 3 years ago.
It's ridiculous. It's
like, okay then.
But then in another, this is going off topic. Well, not off topic, on a bit of a tangent. So there's been, and speaking of Jared Leto, have you seen the trailer for the new Marvel film that's going to come out? Featuring Jared Leto as the main character.
No, it's not actually.
It's called Morbius. And Morbius, it's in the same universe as Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Now he's kind of been in the comic books, that kind of thing. They've never released anything. He's like a vampire. And
which, Jared Leto is an internal human being, so makes sense.
If you watch the trailer, Jared Leto's got his Kurt Cobain long hair back. He's got a six-pack. He's not wearing many clothes, but yeah. But
just a typical day for Jared Leto.
Yeah, what's interesting is it's got Michael Keaton in the trailer, who played the Vulture in the Spider-Man, in Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And also, there's a photo of, I'm going to actually send it to you now. I'm going to send you a screenshot of, there's a Spider-Man graffitied on a wall in, I'm assuming, New York. And interestingly enough, Ben, talking about crazy universe stuff, it's not Tom Holland's Spider-Man that's on the wall. It's just sending over now via my cellular data because my Wi-Fi is rubbish.
I was about to say, I could definitely tell you tried doing that over Wi-Fi then, because you went pixelated.
Yeah, my fiber isn't in until a week or something.
Honestly, people of the pod, you will never know our pain of me having 170 meg internet connection and Sam having 6.
It's not even that. So yeah, have you got it?
Yes, I've got that. Yeah, that's not Tom Holland, is it?
That's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man on the wall.
Yeah.
Why is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man on the wall in a trailer for a Marvel movie when that was like over a decade ago? You are just bewildered right now. You're like, what is going on?
Did they? Right, it's either
is that
being
goof?
clever,
or is it clever? What is it?
It's like did they just run out of like posters? And they were like, oh shit, we've not got any Tom Holland ones.
Let's use it.
Tell you what we do have though, we've got loads of surplus ones from Spider-Man 3 that we could never get rid of. So should we use them instead? They're like,
So,
yeah, no one
yeah.
will notice.
What do you think, people of the pod? Do you hate all this crazy Marvel DC? Which universe is it taking place in? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let us know. I know a lot of people's parents hate it because they can't keep up with it. But
Yeah. And do you know what though? I do agree. I'm actually looking forward to the Harley Quinn movie because I feel like out of the Suicide Squad, clearly from a cultural reference, Margot Robbie did a brilliant job of that, and everybody wanted to either be her or
Be with her.
with her. Nice. Oh, see, not even
Yeah.
planned that podcast, people. But yeah, I think it was quite clear to see out of anyone out of that film who was going to get the spin-off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
She
There's-
actually nailed that
it just
part.
rained money. You could. I mean, look at how many people went out for 3 Halloweens dressed as Harlequin for. Like, it's going to be done forever now. It's
Yeah.
like the most popular Halloween outfit for girls, pretty much now, isn't it? So.
It's taken over Slutty Cat.
Oh yeah, the slutty cat is dead.
We had from a good 2008 to 2016 Slutty Cat, and now, Harley Quinn, you've taken over. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So the other film for me, kind of looking at this year, that I think it might not be a cinema release that I might see unless the trailer and everything is like proper hype and it gets good reviews, is Black Widow, because I do like Scarlett Johansson.
Well, yeah, we can tell this from what you said earlier.
I just think she's a brilliant actress.
Have you watched Marriage Story yet? Probably. That's on Netflix.
It's definitely on Netflix, and that guy out of Star Wars who's just in
Adam
everything
Driver.
currently. Oh my god, Adam Driver is in everything.
He's-
Like, you can't turn the corner, and it's like, he's in another film.
He's so
How?
awesome, though. He carries himself so well.
But yes, I'm looking forward to that because it's kind of like the first proper release of a film since Endgame, if I'm not mistaken.
And I get that, but for me, it's kind of like I'm in the camp of Black Widow, great. I'm glad she gets her story, but I'm not. I don't know.
I think the big thing that they're going to struggle with in what are we in stage 4?
I think so. Yeah, Phase 4.
Phase 4. I think when they kind of released with the Eternals and with this kind of catalogue of like Doctor Strange 2 and things like that, they're not like your blockbusters, are they? They're not, oh my god, I have to go and see that at the cinema. Like,
they don't have all the big stars. They don't have their poster boy / girl of the new generation yet. Obviously,
No.
Robert Downey Jr. was the poster boy of the Avengers, and it kind of looked like they were passing the torch to Tom Holland. However, nobody can agree on Spider-Man. So,
come on, Sony, just let it go. just let it go.
Just let it go.
It's like, let's be honest, you had 5 attempts at making a Spider-Man film, and Marvel came along and made 2, and they were so much better than anything you've ever made ever before. Like, just accept they are better at making films and just let it go. But there's too much money involved. They're never going to let it go. So I'm intrigued to see how this goes without the big hitters, because even in things like Spider-Man, they threw in an Iron Man to kind of make sure. Let's make sure that this happens.
That's going to get but it's like the Rogue One thing with Star Wars. I didn't watch the trailers. I purposefully didn't because I didn't want to know what happened. But from what I heard was the fact that Darth Vader was in a trailer for Rogue One. Because if you put Darth Vader in a trailer for a new movie coming out, people are going to go and watch it because they're like, oh, Darth Vader, that kind of thing. It'll be the same thing with this. I think there might be a glimpse of Iron Man for whatever reason. So
should be sad over the fact that no spoilers, but oh, cool. So yeah, they're my 2 coming out this year that I'm intrigued, looking forward to. Have you got any others as well, Sam?
Yeah, same month as Birds of Prey. There's also Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, the fan petition, please change the way our movie character looks movie.
And they did.
And they actually did.
That cost them $20 million.
To change how Sonic looked. Poor old Sonic, but it does look a lot better. They tried to come up with a very contemporary, real life, in the same vein as Detective Pikachu kind of look for their animation, and people were just like, no, that's not Sonic.
And they were right.
And they were right. But I think I'm probably not going to see it because I want to see Birds of Prey, but I think it's great casting having Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. That's just fantastic. I haven't seen a Jim Carrey movie in ages. That's something that I would love to...
That guy's been living under a rock.
He has. He's gone away, and I think this will be like a big... It suits him. He's one of those characters where it's like, oh, we need a kind of a strange character, an actor to play it. We're either going to go Johnny Depp or Jim Carrey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm going to make two projections with this film.
Yeah.
It is either going to attract new children, like we were attracted to Sonic when we were younger with the Dreamcast, the Mega Drive. Actually, to be fair, you know, actually where Sonic used to live.
Yeah.
And you know, we're in our mid-20s now.
That's true.
It's probably not a film that we're going to go out and watch at the cinema because it's slightly childish.
Exactly.
Because it's Sonic.
Yeah, exactly.
So they either have to tap in to this new market of new children who love Frozen and Fortnite.
Yeah.
and honestly, if they don't tap into that, because they're trying to go off on a nostalgia feel for people who aren't going to watch it, it's either going to tap into a new market and do well, or it's going to absolutely smack a tank.
I agree.
Sonic is going to go hyperspeed straight in to a tank and just die. It's going to go one or two ways.
And they spent all that extra money on it, but I don't know. I think the kids are always going to go and see it anyway, so maybe they should tap into the older generation. I don't know. I think it's going to be basically like Detective Pikachu, which was not what it should have been. I went and watched that. We were in the shopping centre, Meadow Hall in Sheffield, me and my girlfriend, and we were like, we could go home, or we could go and watch Detective Pikachu. It's Ryan Reynolds. It's only going to cost us X amount a ticket. Screw it, let's go in. We watched it, and we were like, oh, well, that wasn't a Pokemon movie at all.
What was that?
It had Pokemon in it. It was just, should have seen through it. Should have been smarter on that one, Sam. But yeah. So
goddamn self-reflection.
I know.
So kind of moving on to a film which I think it's out now. So these are all quite early films, but I recently read an article on the lead actor in this, and it was tapping into how this said actor is riding on the cocktails of a career from 20.
Cocktails.
No, cocktails.
Oh, is this a pun?
There's a pun. No, it's just I said the wrong word.
Oh.
It's late. It's late, guys. And how he is riding on this wave of nostalgia and kind of previous highs of box office.
Here we go.
Which is the man of... And this is controversial, and we might lose some followers, me saying this.
Oh, great.
But Will Smith.
Oh.
And Bad Boys.
The Gemini man himself.
The man that, to be fair, carried the entire Aladdin film. Without him, would have been a complete waste of some time on a flight that I was on. But I loved Bad Boys when I was younger. And I enjoyed Bad Boys 2.
Yeah.
And I feel like that should be there and left there.
Oh, really?
And what they've done is gone, we need to make some money.
Yes.
What can we tap into? Let's make another film which was basically the same 15 years later.
Yeah.
And we have the new Bad Boys film.
Well,
I don't know.
It's coming out in the same year, Ben, I'm just going to list a few films for you. It's coming out in the same year as Top Gun Maverick. Another remake is coming out in the same year as Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Another remake.
It's coming out in the same year, dun dun dun, as West Side Story. Again.
You're gonna tell me there's like a Wayne's World being made.
I actually would see that though.
I would totally go and see that. I feel like what's happened is the games industry has gone, we're going to remaster some old games because people kind of liked old games.
Yeah.
And we're going to make them HD and people are going to love them.
Mm.
And then people have gone, actually, yeah, we kind of love that. And then all the movie industry has gone, should we do the same? Like, should we just make some movies that we made 15 years ago, make them in 4K, and everyone will be like, absolutely.
No one will know.
No
one will
ever
suspect
know.
to think they're stupid. They'll pay to see anything.
Like, I feel like that's what this year is. It's like,
I feel
let's
like
make
we're not
some
being positive enough about this year coming up in movies. Positive mental attitude.
It could be great, but something just tells me that it's like
it's a great Netflix film.
It is a great Netflix film. Like, if that's on in 4K,
why is it
definitely putting it on?
The good films are coming out straight to Netflix and the bad ones are coming out of the cinema? Are we on to something here?
Maybe because Netflix spend so much money on original content.
I think they know they're on. I can't believe Netflix isn't more expensive.
Do you know what I think it is? I think genuinely, I feel like Netflix know who their audience is.
They do. They're doing a great job.
They know what they want, clearly. They don't care about ratings particularly. They don't really care about viewing figures because they have 100 million subscribers.
Yep.
And do you know what? I praise to Netflix and Amazon, who have made like Emmy-winning, content. Jennifer Aniston just won Academy Award for her work with Apple TV Plus. Seismic shifts are happening in the world of this, cinema versus Netflix. I feel.
Yeah.
I can imagine the next 3 to 4 years. CES, they've just had 8K TVs in abundance. You can get, let's say you get, an 80-inch 8K TV in your home. Why do you even need to go to the cinema?
Exactly.
This is the discussions that we have on the Mancave Podcast, everybody. The death of cinema.
Just taking a big dump over all these films that are coming out next year. And to segue onto another film that here's one that I do not want to see. Why are they releasing it? It's just to make some money. Stop it. He's already dead. It's The King's Man.
Oh, another one.
This is a prequel to The Kingsman. Right.
Shut up.
Right. Let's all take a trip down memory lane. I'm just going to quickly load up. So, in 2014, there was a movie that came out. It was called Kingsman: The Secret Service. And it was amazing. It had Samuel L. Jackson being a bad guy like we've not seen before. It had Colin Firth being this super awesome, like suave James Bond kind of guy. It had Michael Caine. It had this new guy, Taron Egerton, who was like awesome, and everyone was like, "Who's this guy? He's super cool." And it was awesome. I was like, "This movie's amazing. It could be like the next." It's taking spy movies in a new way. This could be its own series, and it could go on forever, like James Bond. No. No.
They quickly changed that tone.
No. Because the director, Matthew Vaughn, who I have a personal beef with, right? Matthew Vaughn has made some great movies. He's made Kick-Ass. Fantastic movie. He's come up with a movie that's thought outside the box. What if it's someone who wants to be a superhero who's just a regular guy? Awesome. One of my favourite films. He's been a producer on Layer Cake, Rocket Man, Eddie the Eagle. You can kind of see he's worked with Taron Egerton a lot. However, he's also had some misses. He had the remake of Fantastic Four.
Terrible film. Anything to do with the Fantastic Four was just a terrible film.
there was this great film that came out, like I say, called The Kingsman Secret Service, and it was awesome. Then, similarly, like the Kick-Ass sequel, which was absolutely rubbish, The Kingsman had a sequel, and it was also absolutely god-awful. You killed off everyone.
Oh, right at the beginning of the film
And
as
it
well,
was like,
didn't they?
and what they did was they killed off a load of the British characters and brought in. It was so obvious what they were doing. They brought in an entire American Kingsman society because then, oh, guess what? We're gonna get all the Americans into this film so it sells over there as well. Ridiculous.
It's not like James Bond recently. He's doing well over there.
So yeah, they absolutely killed this with the sequel. It was absolutely rubbish. It could have been such a good series and gone on to be amazing. And now they're doing a prequel.
Prequels with, it's like,
And it
well,
just doesn't
right, what
even-
we did the first film well. So if we go back to before that, where we can pretend that the second one never happened.
Look, I mean, the Golden Circle did have its moments, but it had so much potential. And basically, Matthew Vaughn can't make a sequel. That's what I'm trying to say. That's my personal beef with him. Kick-Ass couldn't make a good sequel for that. Golden Circle couldn't make a good sequel for that. He makes amazing first films. He can't do the one after.
It's like
What's
he's
up with
got a good original IPO like idea, and then it's kind of like, I don't know what to do with this.
I know I'm going on a tangent, but it might be that, let's say the studio's like, oh, we're paying you to do this, you have to make a sequel, and he doesn't really want to. That could be what's happening here, and I could be looking at it completely the wrong way. I don't even know the guy, but I feel offended by what he's done. There's my piece. Thank you.
Boom. I feel like that is just like,
Mic drop.
wow, absolute mic drop. So I think, do you know what? I think a lot of the time on things like podcasts and reviews, I actually quite like it when there's a bit of a bad one. Like when you're watching IGN,
Yeah.
and they go, do you know what? I've got to be honest.
This is rubbish.
This is just not a good game. It's a 3.
But they could have paid us lots of money to tell you it was a 10 out of 10, but it was a 3.
That's the thing. The amount of things that you see, it's like hashtag gifted, hashtag ad.
Yeah.
Paid promotion. There's no paid promotions on this show. We can be honest. And if we don't think a film is good, we're going to goddamn right tell you that it's not very good. Because what's the point in just going, yeah, everything's brilliant? Because sometimes it's creativity. Like, sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you get it drastically wrong.
Yeah.
So, so I want to see Bad Boys from a perspective of, I want to see how not good it is, or if it is okay. And I think it's like with that film, I bet you want to watch it because you're kind of like, I want to see if he gets it bad again. You're not gonna pay him to watch it.
No.
You're gonna find that through the various medias of the internet to also have that opinion, like this podcast, which is totally free on all streaming platforms. Link in the description. I think that's a well-rounded look at some films that we've seen and looking forward to seeing. Yeah,
I agree. There's the other bit. I think The Eternals is a big Marvel movie that's going to be coming out, isn't it? Hasn't that got Angelina Jolie and
Richard Madden from The Bodyguard and like 8 episodes of Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I think that's going to be their big one for the year. But there's no big Christmas release, Star Wars is taking a break. James Bond is coming out in the middle of the year. So
we're going to have a very quiet Christmas. It'd be like, so we're going to do one podcast because there's no games. Well, actually, to be fair, by that time, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X whatever it's called, will be coming out. So plenty to chat about.
It's going to be called the Sex Box one day. Let's just be honest. Guys, I've got this great idea.
So let's call it the Sex Box. It's like
Sex Box 1.
Bill, that was a very different thing that came up in the 90s and it didn't work. What we'll do, we'll get Dwayne The Rock Johnson to introduce it, and people will love it. I was watching, because it was like 15 years ago that the Xbox originally came out, and it was The Rock that introduced it. How totally early noughties was that?
That's the most naughties thing I've ever seen.
Brilliant. Almost as early noughties as Bad Boys. Can't get over it. Cannot get over it. Well, podcast listeners, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, share it with your friends. I usually text loads of people with a link. So if you've enjoyed it, and you feel like somebody needs a little bit of love in their life with two guys chatting about movies, let them know that we're here. That'd be much appreciated.
Always.
And as always, we will see you
in the man cave.
In the man cave.
Man cavers.
And goodbye, man cavers. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao bella.